It's a lovely good evening and welcome to Camnet TV Main News to present. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Top stories in the news. The UPND Alliance disagrees with the UPND on disregarding the rule of law. 9 political parties eye the KABWATA parliamentary seat. Government urged to extend free education to GCE. In international news, Italian ambassador murderers arrested in Eastern DRC. And in sports news, Comoros dream of World Cup after shocking Ghana in the AFCON.
Camnet TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome once again to the news in detail. The Gaming Association of Zambia has warned that operators not abiding by the law regulating the gaming industry risk having their businesses shut down. The association's Special Activities Director Noah Malungila is reacting to concerns raised by parents and guardians over the Bonanza machine owners admitting children among clients. He adds that the association, in collaboration with the ministries regulating the sector, is set to embark on inspection activities to address the illegality. Alex Kishimba reports.
Following complaints from parents of Lusaka and other stakeholders over the illegalities around the gambling bonanza business across the country, lamenting that their children are exposed to this vice, hence demanding for a ban.
So is Gama Bonanza is a Stevie Food. Gatinia Pomapon. Pangala want to fool so is Bonanza is a Steve Food. You know Gawana Kai Combo.
I'm on 10 years, 8 years, 7 years. Maonongeka. Tabutikana nawo bana munga yeta nkani ya bonanza mwandi nchabebwino bale baya banning.
In response to this development, the Gaming Association of Zambia has warned the operators who shall be found wanting that they'll face the law and risk their business. Mr. Noah Malungila is the association's Special Activities Director.
Some of these people in this business, the documents they're using, they are contrary to the business they're doing, especially to our Asian counterparts. And it's not only the Asians who are in this business. There are a lot of Zambians as well into this business. Now the challenge is for those who are doing it illegally. One, I meant by those who are not paying to ZRA. Because the nature of this business, whenever you want to start this business, there's a rule that you should be paying 250 per machine per month. Now there are these people who haven't gone through ZRA. There are these people who haven't gone through Zambia Gaming Association. And we're having really a big challenge because those are the people now who have done this business who are not even following the rules the same.
However, Mr. Malungila says banning the bonanza business will have a negative impact on many Zambians in the business operating within the provided laws.
So banning this machine, the KABWATA alluded to, there are a lot of Zambians who have these machines today. There are a lot of Zambians who have employed fellow Zambians in this industry today. And let me just tell you this. That business you see today it's not a small industry. It's a big industry. If you shake it today, you'll be seeing some section of life or some sections of the community who will suffer. So the only thing we just have to do is to make sure that we put things in place so that this business continues. Like what I've alluded to, we are not supposed to put machines in groceries. We are not supposed to put these machines maybe in the public markets here, like what you saw. These machines can only be put in places which cannot be accessed by underage patronage.
He has since revealed that soon an inspection exercise will be conducted countrywide in collaboration with the Ministry of Tourism and other line ministries to ensure that law is observed in the gaming industry. Alex Shimba, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Poultry Association of Zambia has charged that the country has lost over 14 million kwacha since December 2021 due to drowning of day-old chicks by hatchery companies. Association Executive Director Dominic Chanda has told Camnet News in an exclusive interview that the low demand for day-old chicks during this period has prompted hatchery companies to drown the birds as a way of mitigating further losses. He says the export ban on day-old chicks imposed by government has also been a contributing factor to not having a market to sell the day-old chicks, resulting in hatchery companies killing them. He says over 1.1 million birds have so far been drowned. More in the following report.
According to the Poultry Association of Zambia, the country produces about 2.1 million day-old chicks weekly against a consumption of about 1.6 million per week. Poultry Association of Zambia Executive Director Dominic Chanda, however, says the low demand of day-old chicks on the Zambian market during this period has been prompting hatchery companies to kill the surplus day-old chicks by drowning them. Mr. Chanda says the country has since December of 2021 drowned about 1.1 million birds, which amounts to over 14 million kwacha, excluding the expenses in feeding the mothers to the chicks.
That we have is that in the last 1 month, this country has drowned close to about almost 1.1. We don't know if we add what has been drowned this particular week. As I indicated, it's normal. In a normal year, this is normal, but the numbers is huge. This is the technical term used in the industry where you kill day-old chicks that do not have the owners. Sometimes other companies use what is called gassing. You kill them because you can't take them anywhere. There's no customer for them. Because when you talk about 1.1 million, a chick is about 16 kwacha, 15 where, although right now a lot of hatcheries are actually doing promotions, the average is about 13 kwacha, 15 where.
The country had in June of 2021 experienced a shortage of day-old chicks on the Zambian market, which prompted the then government to suspend the export of day-old chicks and stock feed. Mr. Chanda says the prolonged ban on the export is also a contributing factor to drowning the birds and have called on the government to look into the matter.
We also have to understand that 6 months ago the government issued an export ban of day-old chicks. What usually happens during this period is that when you have excess, the export market becomes the vent through which these day-old chicks can actually be sold, so that you avoid hemorrhaging, financial hemorrhages for all the players along the value chain. We met the ministry last week specifically just to discuss this issue so that export can be allowed, and the ministry assured us to say they are looking at alternatives of actually opening up.
And while the Lusaka City Council, through the town clerk Alex Mwansa, has issued a notice advising the general public to relocate their animals and birds away from residential areas, and that failure to comply will force the authority to enforce the Public Health Act Cap 295, Section 68 and 69, Mr. Chanda says such is not possible, adding that the city has not enough space and farmland for people to move their animals.
When you have 80% of the people that are growing chickens are doing it at the backyard and be able to provide cheap source of proteins for the majority of Zambians, not only in Lusaka, and then you tell them to stop doing what they are doing at their backyard, it becomes a problem. Why? Because you can just assume removing that 80% of chickens out of the market. What are you promoting?
Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection, JCTR, has warned of commodity price increment and overall a higher cost of living in the month of January owing to the effect of the fuel price increment. JCTR Programs Manager Mundia Chama Mundia says the cost of living for a family of 5 in Lusaka is, as measured by the JCTR Basic Needs and Nutrition Basket for December 2021, increased by 214 kwacha, 52 ngwe from that of November 2021. Mrs. Mundia says the upward movement in the basket is attributed to the increased prices of food and non-food items. She has since urged the government through the Ministry of Finance to sustain the timely release of funds for key social sector spending budget lines, as it is key in cushioning the poor in the context of a high cost of living.
So the cost of living for a family of 5, as measured by the Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection, Basic Needs and Nutrition Basket for December 2021 is standing at 8,359 kwacha. So this is about 212 kwacha above what we recorded in November. In November 2021, our Basic Needs and Nutrition Basket was standing at 8,145. And of course, the increase in the basket is attributed to largely the increase that we have seen in the food section of the basket, which has moved from 2,900 kwacha in November to about 3,100 in December 2021. Of course, this has been contributed to by food item increases such as kapenta, chicken, of course even the other fruits, and also non-food items, but essential items like charcoal. And our expectation is that we will see the basket increase further, especially in January, when sort of the impacts of the fuel increment will be much more felt as we move forward.
A Lusaka-based educator, Patrick Samwimbila, has called on the government to extend the free education policy to the External General Certificate of Education program. In an interview with Camnet TV, Mr. Samwimbila says the high cost associated with the GCE program has only favored the rich at the expense of the majority of vulnerable citizens. He explains that much as the students deserve to pay something owing to the fact that they failed in previous attempts, the program should not act as a punishment for their failure. He has appealed to the United Party for National Development UPND administration to consider reducing the fees if it is impossible to make it free.
A plan, because we already had grade 1 to grade 7 free, so they have extended from grade 8 to grade 12. But myself, I have one other interest, which is the program, which is also a government program. It's not a private program, which is the GCE program. The GCE program is damn expensive, and this has always been, something that has advantaged the rich, who are able to go back and rewrite. One school of thought has been, people are saying, no, these are failures and they're being given another chance. Why should they be, supported? It's a government program. And I should not think that government will bring up a program to punish citizens. That is not the way it's supposed to be. So our cry is that the olive branch or the gesture that has been given to the internal students could also be extended to the GC students. If it is not completely free, then therefore the fees must be reduced, both the examination fees that they're paying and probably the tuition fees that they pay in schools, because these are also citizens that we need to take care of. And it is a system that is actually helping, the education system to grow. GC is helping the education system to grow, because many people, even people in high positions now, they got their qualifications through GCE, and I see it nothing wrong for government to extend, that gesture also to the GCE students.
The United Party for National Development UPND Alliance says the utterances made by the UPND youth leader Gilbert Liswaniso on taking the law into their own hands do not have the blessings of the alliance. Tuesday, Mr. Liswaniso warned that all those disrespecting President Hakainde Hichilema will be dealt with through bypassing the police. Addressing the media Wednesday, Alliance spokesperson Daniel Shimunza explains that the party respects freedom of expression, which is based on responsibility and respect. Meanwhile, Mr. Shimunza has expressed confidence in winning the KABWATA constituency parliamentary by-election slated for February. More in this report.
Political party cadre infiltration in public places, hooliganism and generally lawlessness behavior is the beginning of downfall for some political parties, with the Patriotic Front being the latest example as contained in their post-mortem report. Barely 5 months into government, the UPND youths have started threatening violence towards their opponents for what they term as disrespecting the head of state. Tuesday, UPND National Youth Chairman Gilbert Liswaniso warned that the party will beat up any individual who will be found insulting President Hakainde Hichilema.
Insult Director Hakainde Hichilema, who beat you. I'm not joking here. I don't need even the police to come in. Yes. I never depend on the police when in the opposition. We depend on our own. Yes. You attack Hakainde direct as an individual, come to direct as an individual. Just attack the government, attack UPND, attack Hakainde as a president. But if you go as an individual, I'm telling you, you won't even walk with Lusaka.
But UPND Alliance spokesperson Daniel Shimonza notes that the directive by the youth leader goes against the rule of law, which the governing party stands for.
That cadarism in all its forms, even where the cadarism is taking place against what the president has said, it is not the position of the president and it is not the position of the alliance to support any form of cadarism in markets or bus stops or abuse of our people. The president is very categorical about that, and as an alliance and alliance partners, we are also in support of that position. And that is why if there are any tendencies of cadarism and abuse of the law and due process of the law, such people must be arrested, regardless of whether they come from whichever political party. The UPND Alliance is committed to bridge the gap created by any artificial barriers that separate us for the sake of the unification of the 73 tribes plus. We would also like to encourage everyone to express their views in a respectable and cordial manner. This nation is built on a very strong foundation of Christian values and traditions. As a Christian nation, Article 8 of our Constitution provides the values that we ascribe to as a people.
Meanwhile, Dr. Shimonza also talked about the KABWATA by-election, which he says will see the people of KABWATA once again voting for the UPND.
We have noted the dirty campaigning tactics employed by the opposition, especially the Patriotic Front, who are deliberately alleging that we as an alliance are split in supporting the candidate. That is simply not true. Mr. Tayengwa is the best candidate we could have settled on, and we will push in every resource. We'll push in every resource in the campaign drive. He was born, bred and schooled, worked and has lived all his life in KABWATA.
Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Meanwhile, 9 candidates have successfully filed in their nominations in the KABWATA parliamentary by-election, which fell vacant following the demise of the United Party for National Development UPND Member of Parliament Levi Mkandawire.
The failure by all political parties to field a female candidate in the KABWATA parliamentary by-elections, which were later cancelled after the United Progressive Party UPP candidate Francis Libanda resigned, attracted criticisms from the women's non-governmental organizations. The second fielding in has, however, seen the United National Independent Party UNIP adopt a female candidate in Ngiwe Mzieche, who contested in the 12th August 2021 general elections on the same seat.
KABWATA has never had a female member of parliament, which is not auguring well with development, as you may be aware. They say that in development studies, you need the female and the male part to pull together to complement each other.
Ms. Mzieche is among the candidates who have successfully managed to fill in their nominations, despite having faced several challenges to meet the requirements. The nominations, however, did not go without drama, as former Lands Minister Jean Kapata was not happy with the conduct of police officers who denied her a railway to enter the nomination center.
You'll be here when the UPND comes, isn't it? You're around you as a media. We want you to cover to see what's going to happen here, because they're saying our people are already inside and we can't go in. But I know that when the other party comes, there'll be nothing to talk about. They'll just push the police and get inside. We want to see that, and so tomorrow we can talk about it.
Other candidates, among them the Democratic Party candidate Fred Muvanga, the People's Alliance for Change Sydney Mziambo, Economic and Equity candidate Chilufya Tayali, Patriotic Front candidate Clement Tembo, Socialist Party candidate Trifa Ngandu, New Heritage Party candidate Kennedy Muyoya, United Party for National Development candidate Andrew Tayengwa have all managed to field in their nominations and are confident of taking the day.
On record that I made a request to the President of this country together with the MPs that are there in Parliament today, that let the children of civil servants and the ordinary journalists be considered as vulnerable children, so that navena bareba perako kwa mungu ikishai if vulnerability ona landa tekweba tabana benu bare chula yo I want them to be considered as vulnerable children so that they are given bursaries as well.
KABWATA is one of the privileged constituencies, but we still have a number of people that are living in poverty. Young people who don't have employment, elders who are also struggling through their life. So we need to look at all this. But how do you look at this? It's not that a member of parliament does all these things from his pocket. This is the misconception that is usually there. A member of parliament is there to speak for the people, to lobby government to do some of those things that people are struggling with. So this is what I'm going to do. What I'm offering is effective representation.
Nifuna chape munyamata amene isa chipani cha PF tinasanka kuti ayimilire atenge malo aine kunkala MP wa muno mu KABWATA ampaseni moni ndiponso amupempeni mwa chipani cha PF kuti mwakwera pano sikomo pobwera koma ntchito yayambira pano tikaenda so pano tuchite kampeni.
For others, KABWATA has been their home and have promised that they will end the suffering that the people of KABWATA currently face.
I work with the people. I work with the people of KABWATA. I'm making myself available, and I know that as I get into parliament, one thing is that I'll tell you that interaction is the best thing. So my strength really is interacting with people, getting their views, getting their challenges, and I'm making myself available to meet their needs.
There are 5 wards, and these different wards, they have got different needs. Number 1, Kukamulanga, Kulibe Hospital. Yet we had an MP who was there for over 20 years. Kulibe Hospital, Kulibe Police Post, Marodzi Yalibadi Kamulanga, Kulibe na Market. So these are the things that we'll try and address in Kamulanga ward. Also in Livala, if you look at Livala is the only ward that doesn't have a clinic also, especially along the road of Chirumburu Road.
With all the candidates' confidence of scooping the seat, the people of KABWATA remain the key holders to employment. Prudence Chota reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Federation of Free Trade Unions of Zambia, FFTUZ, has called for a close monitoring of youth cooperatives that will be funded under the Constituency Development Fund to ensure transparency and accountability. In an interview with Camnet News, FFTUZ President Chingati Msiska says while these cooperatives can undertake other ventures, their main focus on productivity should be geographical so as to have a diverse range of cooperatives. The United Party for National Development UPND administration has allocated 5 million kwacha towards youth empowerment under the 25.7 million kwacha Constituency Development Fund in the 2022 national budget. More in this report.
The United Party for National Development UPND administration has come strong on its message of ensuring that young people are empowered to venture into various income-generating activities. The new administration has been attributing its victory to the large turnout from the youths who expect to see change in a country with ever-shrinking opportunities for white-collar employment. To this effect, 5 million kwacha has been set apart for youth empowerment out of the 25.7 million kwacha constituency development funds. With the creation of the Ministry of Small Medium Enterprises Development, youths have also been urged to form cooperatives. Federation of Free Trade Unions President Mr. Chingati Msiska says the formation of cooperatives should be seen as a game changer to the country's longed-for local development. He has therefore called for close monitoring of these cooperatives to make sure they serve their intended purpose.
We want to be very categorical as regard to how these cooperatives are going to work. As much as we know obviously that every Zambian can do business everywhere, we are mindful of the fact that there shouldn't be any way or any area where everyone should be taken advantage of by way of having cooperative in Osaka working in Wakula. So we want this systematic way and approach where every cooperative that is generated or formed is going to work within the area that they are formed. I think that is the way to develop the country. Mr.
Msiska adds that cooperatives should focus on many areas while giving priority to productive activities in different provinces so as to have a diverse range of cooperatives.
Those that are cultivating rice in that particular area, of course it should be enhanced in terms of support, but we should look at other avenues so that people are able equitably to share what benefit the majority of the members within that area. If fully utilized, cooperatives have been seen as one of the tools which will help the country to achieve its goal of becoming a prosperous middle-income country by 2030. Zipora Mchala, Camnet News,
Lusaka.
The Director of Public Prosecution, DPP, has not yet issued consent to prosecute the matter in which 6 Ministry of Health officials are accused of willful failure to comply with applicable law and procedure over the honeybee drug supply scandal. When the accused appeared before Lusaka Magistrate Jennifer Walia Wednesday, the prosecution informed the court that the accused could not proceed taking plea in the matter as the offences they are charged with need consent from the DPP, which is yet to be issued. Wilson Lungu, a chief purchasing and supplying officer, has been jointly charged with 5 others with 2 counts of willful failure to follow applicable law or procedure or guidelines contrary to Section 34 Cap 2 of the Anti-Corruption Act No. 3 of 2012. More in the report.
The case of 6 Ministry of Health officials accused of willful failure to comply with applicable law and procedure over the honeybee drug supply scandal received an early adjournment Wednesday morning when the accused were informed by the Lusaka's Magistrate Court that they could not proceed to take plea in the case as the Director of Public Prosecution has not yet issued consent to prosecute the matter. The 6 accused persons, among them Wilson Lungu, who is a Chief Purchasing and Supplying Officer, Daniel Makawa, a Senior Registrar, Obeta Chizibe, an Accountant, Abel Living, a Procurement Officer, Boyd Manashbala, and Emmanuel Mwanga, both pharmacists, have been slapped with 2 counts of willful failure to comply with applicable law or procedure or guidelines contrary to Section 34(2)(b) of the Anti-Corruption Act No. 3 of 2012 of the laws of Zambia. The 6 are alleged to have on the 1st July 2019 and the 31st of December 2019 failed to comply with applicable procedure and regulations relating to the evaluation of a tender number MOH/SP/032/19 for supply and delivery of 22,500 healthy center kits when they participated in both the Evaluation Committee and the Ministerial Procurement Committee, a matter or transaction which concerns Ministry of Health. The 6 were told when they appeared before Lusaka Magistrate Jennifer Walia that the Director of Public Prosecution has not yet issued a consent in their matter, hence they could not plead to the charge, but only the offence which they have been accused of was explained to them. The accused were last year in December arrested for the said offence and only made their appearance before court yesterday. Subsequently, the matter was adjourned to today. There are some offences which cannot be prosecuted without the DPP's specific consent, for example, offences under the Penal Code Act like incest, and offences under the Anti-Corruption Act, abuse of office, corruption, among others. And this matter of the 6 directors before court is one of them which needs consent. The accused will appear before court in March this year, where it is expected that during that time, the DPP would have issued a consent and the accused may take plea and go into possible trial. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Lusaka Magistrate Court conducted a circuit session at the house of former State House Press Aide Amos Chanda in Lusaka's Woodlands area, where it is alleged that he and his co-accused obstructed Anti-Corruption Commission officers when they wanted to conduct a search. Lusaka Chief Resident Magistrate Dominic Makalicha led a procession to view the house on the scene where the alleged incident is said to have occurred. This is in a matter in which Mr. Chanda, his wife Mebo Nakaundi Chanda, and sister-in-law Ruth Nakaundi are accused of using insulting language and obstructing SCC officers. More in this report.
This is the house of former State House Press Aide Amos Chanda, located in Lusaka's Woodlands area, where the alleged horrific scene described by one of the SCC state witness that they were made to walk backward with eyes closed and found one of the rooms to be as dirty as hell. At about 10:30 hours Wednesday morning, the Lusaka's Magistrate Court moved to Mr. Chanda's property for a court session. This was following an application that was made by the defense in the previous court session that the court goes for a scene visit at Mr. Chanda's property for the purpose of cross-examining an ACC investigative officer, Swinton Lusaka, who was still on the stand. This is in a matter in which Mr. Chanda, his wife Maple Chanda, and sister-in-law Ruth Nakaundi are accused of using insulting language and obstructing SCC officers. The trio are alleged to have obstructed and delayed the officers while they carried out a siege at Mr. Chanda's property in Woodlands area. Mr. Lusaka, during cross-examination this morning, demonstrated during the scene visit to the court how he was allegedly obstructed by the accused persons, stating that he was insulted throughout the process he conducted the siege. However, his evidence during cross-examination was challenged by the defense lawyer, Tim Munalula, if any of the accused persons allegedly blocked him, and he said no. In his re-examination, the witness insisted that he was obstructed from conducting his duties because one of the accused persons, Ruth Nakaundi, continued to shower him with insults. The room that was described by one of the witnesses of being dirty and scary, when questioned if there was anything ritual to have happened, the witness further said nothing ritual was happening in the said room. And speaking to the media shortly after the court session in the same room where his sister-in-law Ruth Nakaundi is alleged to have told one of the witnesses that she was the queen of saliva, Mate Mate, this was his comment.
That we will go to the ends of the earth to defend ourselves against obnoxious lies such as the one. Here, this room where I'm seated, that's the room that was described in sordid detail. Now that is express malice. At my age in my career, I have never seen so much hatred directed at one person by state institutions. The witness here has completely said there was nothing unusual when they were searching, as you were hearing. Now I'm going into the court matter. I think you were there.
Trial continues in the case. Miriam Kemba reporting for Camnet TV News.
This is Camnet News. We take a break. Stay tuned for more news after this break.
Team, the trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the... She has so much data.
Mom?
Yes, baby?
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow! Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes, and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
Deborah, have you connected to the Wi-Fi on the bus? It's fast, it's amazing. I've just downloaded my books and I'm about to complete the series. It's nice too, me.
No, I'm actually watching a reality show. He's about to propose. Oh, so sweet.
Make your trip seem short yet comfortable and safe when you use the UBZ luxurious fully air-conditioned coaches that come fitted with amazing onboard entertainment, passenger information services, coffee-making facilities and fridge for your hot and cold beverages, free and interrupted Wi-Fi for your gadgets, phone charging facilities, comfortable seats that recline to offer extra resting posture, safety seat belts, adjustable reading lights for each traveling client, and of course, clean flushing toilets for your convenience. So travel in luxury and safety with UBZ luxurious coaches. UBZ will always take you there.
To all parents and guardians of the Camnet Stars, be informed that there will be a meeting at the Healing Word Ministries International Church in Ibex Hill on 22nd January 2022. Time, 10 hours to 11:30 hours. The future of this nation is in the hands of your children.
And we are just preparing for the game next week, the friendly match. We are working really hard and preparing for our first match.
Camnet Stars, the upcoming soccer giants in Zambia.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. The Young Emerging Farmers Initiative, YEFI, says there is a need for an overall assessment of the impact of climate change so far on the agriculture sector. In an interview, YEFI Executive Director Mr. Matthew Ntabo says this is in order to facilitate mitigation measures to be taken before the end of the rainy season. Mr. Ntabo has urged cooperating partners to supplement government's efforts in aiding farmers whose crops have been negatively affected by climate change to make a fresh start. More in this report.
While the Ministry of Agriculture has assured of food security in the country for the next 12 months despite the negative effect of climate change, experts in this sector have expressed concern for the coming years. Reports from some parts of the country, such as Eastern Province, indicate that some crops like groundnuts have failed to germinate due to the negative effect of climate change. The 2021-2022 rain season, while having been predicted to start around early November in many parts of the country, was a disappointment to many farmers as the country recorded a prolonged dry spell. While this has been happening in some parts of the country, floods have been occurring in other areas, which has resulted in an overall negative impact on agriculture in many parts of the country. In an interview, Young Emerging Farmers Initiative YEFI Executive Director Mr. Matthew Ntabo has called for an urgent assessment on the damage of climate change to the agriculture sector to allow for mitigation while the rain season is still ongoing and safeguard the country's food security beyond 12 months.
We have information, tangible information that already fighting most of the districts. There's already distribution of chemicals and like the gear for armyworms. So we have seen that being addressed, but we think that there is need for a national assessment that needs to be done on the issue of climate change.
He has also urged cooperating partners to aid in the distribution of new seed for small-scale farmers whose crops have been destroyed.
And we are calling upon the new government that those are very salient issues, very important issues that they need to address: food security, for employment creation, and wealth building. In a village setup, even chickens should be regarded as wealth. So if we cannot address that, we think that we will continue having these challenges. We know that the president is a farmer himself, and so we are confident that these matters will be handled, okay, with the importance that they deserve.
There have been calls from various players in the agriculture sector for the inclusion of emergency farming inputs by the Ministry of Agriculture for farmers on the Farmer Input Support Program FISIP as one way of cushioning the impact of climate change on small-scale farmers. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Civil Society Scaling Up Nutrition Alliance has urged the government and other stakeholders in the agriculture sector to promote non-chemical pest control measures in the fight against the outbreak of fall armyworms. Organization Country Coordinator Matthew Zimhuru notes that the armyworms, which have continued to devastate fields, destroying hectares of this crop maize, need urgent homegrown solutions. Mr. Mhuru has cited Malawi and Kenya as a good example for Zambian farmers to learn from, who are using homemade remedies such as a solution of water, salt and chili to control armyworms. CSO SAN has in this regard advised the Ministry of Agriculture in dealing with armyworms to employ extension experts to help farmers familiarize themselves with sustainable methods that are less harmful to the environment. The outbreak of fall armyworms has been reported in some parts of the country, affecting hectares of maize crop, and the Treasury recently released 46,575,000 kwacha to fight the pests.
Civil Society Scaling Up Nutrition Alliance, we are happy with the release of funds by the Ministry of Agriculture to deal with the outbreak of armyworms in different parts of the country. We would like to urge the Ministry of Agriculture to consider the use of non-chemical methods in dealing with the armyworm outbreak, because these have proven to be environmentally friendly, and since Zambia has made various commitments to also champion environmental related matters, this would be the perfect approach to use. So Zambia can actually learn from countries like Malawi and Kenya, which have used some of these non-chemical methods in dealing with the challenge of armyworms, and they've actually proven to be very, very cheap. So we would actually urge the Ministry of Green Economy and Environment to also consider playing an active role in the fight against these armyworms, to ensure that, you know, some of their plans and strategies are not compromised by the use of chemicals by the agricultural sector.
A community activist, Crispin Mumba of George Compound, Lima Ward, has appealed to the local authority to help clear the garbage in the area. In an interview with Camnet News, Mr. Mumba is concerned that the garbage that has accumulated in the area poses a health hazard. Meanwhile, Lima Ward Councillor Daniel Mwewa says the biggest challenge that has contributed to the garbage accumulating is a lack of transport and indiscriminate waste disposal. More in this report.
Like
the saying goes, a picture tells a story. This here is Joseph Daka of George Compound, Lima Ward. In the clip presented, Joseph seems to be living a comfortable life when actually behind his house there is excess garbage that poses a health hazard. Wednesday, 19th January 2022, Camnet TV caught up with a community activist, Crispin Mumba, and Joseph Daka, both of the same area, who disclosed the excess garbage in most parts of George Compound is allegedly as a result of negligence from local authorities.
So wakatitandizira kuti kwana musambo faka vishara ndiuku kuzangala clean konse because kolera mai manje yamba inayamba na kudala chin short because bana wamasovera mwane mu drainage muzapeza walimo mwane palili mungapa so iri hapa ipa next in school
They say the garbage that has accumulated may bring about waterborne diseases.
Garbage is poured up like this, but this one is much worse because it's just next to a school. And schools open on Monday, and as you can see here, kids, grade ones are supposed to be passing through this water going to class, which is not nice. So we're appealing to the city council, the corporate world, to the government, and anyone else to come to our aid as we try to remove this problem here which you have.
Meanwhile, Lima Ward Councillor Daniel Mwewa says the biggest challenge that has contributed to the garbage accumulating is lack of transport and residents not disposing waste properly.
Is do not have transport, so they depend on the hard transport. So you find that today they go in the field, the next time they want to go, the tractor wire is not there, you know, all that. So some even collect money and then collect garbage and put it on the central place, which is also posing a challenge. So that's the challenge that we've been having with these performance contractors. Kizito, that's not my word. But yes, Lusaka City Council is not the one collecting garbage. But what we've done is that Lusaka City Council, we've given, like in CBD, in these other areas, there are people we are calling franchise contractors. So these are the ones. Who are charged with the responsibility of collecting garbage there.
Efforts to get a comment from Lusaka City Council proved futile by broadcast time. Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Zambia police have revealed that 2,163 persons were killed in road traffic accidents in 2021 alone. Police spokesperson Ray Hamonga says a total of 32,322 road traffic accidents were recorded countrywide, in which 1,757 were fatal. Mr. Hamonga also says over 5,000 people were seriously injured in the accidents, while about 9,000 persons were injured. He says Lusaka province recorded the highest number of road traffic accidents, followed by the Copperbelt, Central, Southern, Western, Eastern, Rapula and Northern province, with 614 road traffic accidents.
During the year 2021, a total number of 32,372 road traffic accidents were recorded countrywide, in which 1,757 were fatal road traffic accidents, where 2,163 persons were killed. 2,988 were serious road traffic accidents, in which 5,307 persons were seriously injured. 6,231 were slight road traffic accidents, in which 9,182 persons were slightly injured, while 21,396 were recorded as damage-only road traffic accidents. Lusaka province recorded the highest number of road traffic accidents with 17,774, followed by Copperbelt with 5,105.
We take our second commercial break. We'll be back with international sports news after this.
Deborah, have you connected to the Wi-Fi on the bus? It's fast, it's amazing. I've just downloaded my books and I'm about to complete the series. It's nice, Chumi.
No, I'm actually watching a reality show. He's about to propose. Oh, so sweet.
Make your trip seem short yet comfortable and safe when you use the UBZ luxurious fully air-conditioned coaches that come fitted with amazing onboard entertainment, passenger information services, coffee-making facilities and fridge for your hot and cold beverages, free and interrupted Wi-Fi for your gadgets, phone charging facilities, comfortable seats that recline to offer extra resting posture, safety seat belts, adjustable reading lights for each traveling client, and of course, clean flushing toilets for your convenience. So travel in luxury and safety with UBZ luxurious coaches. UBZ will always take you there.
Camnet TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel. To all parents and guardians of the Camnet stars, be informed that there will be a meeting at the Healing Word Ministries International Church in Ibex Hill on 22nd January 2022. Time, 10 hours to 11:30 hours. The future of this nation is in the hands of your children.
And we are just preparing for the game next week, the friendly match. We are working really hard and preparing for our first match.
Camnet Stars, the upcoming soccer giants in Zambia.
Welcome back. In international news, military authorities in Eastern Congo have arrested 2 men in connection with the murder of the Italian ambassador in February 2021. The police, however, added that the main suspect is still at large. The commissioner for the North Kivu province accused rebels of killing Ambassador Luca Atanasio in a botched kidnap for ransom attempt. Meanwhile, Tuesday, 18th of January marked 20 years since the end of the brutal conflict in Sierra Leone. Here's a roundup of international news.
Military authorities in eastern Congo have arrested 2 men in connection with the murder of the Italian ambassador in February 2021. The police, however, added that the main suspect is still at large. The commissioner for the North Kivu province accused rebels of killing Ambassador Luca Atanasio in a botched kidnap for ransom attempt. The kidnappers were allegedly seeking more than $1 million in ransom. They managed to tell us when they kidnapped His Excellency the Ambassador. The one who managed to shoot the Ambassador was Aspirant. And when Aspirant shot the Ambassador, they regretted it a lot, because they should have had $1 million in this coup. Aside from the Ambassador, a UN paramilitary officer was also killed, as well as the driver of the vehicle. The authorities did not say when the arrests occurred or when a trial might be taking place. This Tuesday marked 20 years since the end of the brutal conflict in Sierra Leone. The civil war in the former British colony left tens of thousands of people dead. The use of child soldiers was also widespread. Many still carry the scars left by this brutal conflict.
We come in one big town where we call PC Ground.
We were taken to a big town called PC Ground. Many child soldiers and women. My boss was called Komba Gudama.
Plenty where they bring camp.
They took me to a training camp.
That time is my boss man.
We underwent training for 3 months until we were passing
We
out.
undergo training, we did it 3 months, then we passing out.
Despite the painful memories, Ibrahim is determined to build a better life for him and his children.
Actually, but I go thank God because actually I deal with family now.
Actually, I thank God because now I have a family with 4 children. My first
but God knows
grade 5. God has not made it possible for me to achieve what I expected, but thank God I have been able to build a 3-bedroom flat in my village, and I'm still trying.
I don't go build something like 3-room there, then I try small at the cook up.
Former child soldier Ismail Charles was enrolled when he was only 9 years old. Today, at 38 years old, the past is still present in his life.
The reality is, every time when I speak about it, there are raw images that still comes to mind. It's always a reality that I will always live with, because experiences are very difficult to actually forget.
20 years after the conflict, Sierra Leone is still trying to recover from the civil war.
It's now time for sports news. In sports news, the 16 players who contributed to Comoros' shock Africa Cup of Nations win over Ghana will forever enter the island nation's history books, says goal scorer Ahmed Mogni. Mogni scored twice in the debutants' 3-2 win against the 4-time African champions, who fielded a handful of Premier League players. Their stunning upset over the Black Stars in their Group C clash on Tuesday, celebrated loudly with centre-back Kasim M. Dahoma, filmed dancing on a table, provided a first-ever Nations Cup win for a country which has enjoyed a remarkable footballing rise. Comoros, rated 132nd in the world, are the 3rd lowest ranked side of the 24 teams in Cameroon for the tournament, as the former French colony only joined world governing body FIFA in 2005. Nonetheless, their triumph now has their coach dreaming of another major upset, reaching a first World Cup finals, which could become easier when the tournament expands to 48 teams from 2026 onwards. Camnet Stars has beaten Sport in Action by 9-1 in their first friendly match that kicked off at Kabulonga Boys. Assistant head coach Melvin Walia says the team had put up a good fight in today's game. More in the following report.
8th January 2022, Camnet Soccer Academy conducted their first trials that saw 30 participants out of 142 being selected to the Camnet team. Today, Camnet Stars have beaten Sports in Action by 9-1 in a friendly match that kicked off at Kablonga Secondary School. The assistant head coach, Melvin Walia, says the boys put up a good fight against their opponents.
We've come up with a good team, young ones, under 19. We still need more players, yes, because we need to balance the team. We need to have maybe on one position 3 or 4 players. Yes, because we have to compete in the under-19 league. Yes.
Meanwhile, Sports in Action head coach says Camnet Stars have shown to be a hard team in that in their first friendly, they have managed to score 9 goals.
Stars have basically given us a very, very tough game. Yeah, we slacked behind in terms of defensing, and they have utilized and utilized all the opportunities. Yeah, they're really a good side, and I believe the coaches are doing a very good job. The boys are actually playing a very, very, very good football. It's desirable to see how they play, and our boys indeed have been given a very, very tough time. Yeah.
Blessings Shakwila, Camnet Sports, Lusaka.
On that sporting note, we come to the end of the news, but let's take a look at the headlines once again. The UPND Alliance disagrees with the UPND on disregarding the rule of law. 9 political parties eye the KABWATA parliamentary seat. Government urged to extend free education to GCE. In international news, Italian ambassador murderers arrested in eastern DRC. And in sports news, Comoros dream of World Cup after shocking Ghana in the AFCON. We now look at the Camnet word verse for the day, coming from the book of Psalms 19, verse 14. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable to you, Lord, my rock and my redeemer. Thank you for watching the news once again. My name is Jeffrey Zambo. Bye-bye.